And we can keep on moving these to the side so we have more space. So now very randomly, since I don't want all of this to be like perfectly organized, I just want to give you all an idea of how it's going to look at the end. I'm just going to randomly very quickly take the clips that I like. Let's take this one. Right here. Then we can take this one, put it here. And then this one. And just make sure that all of these are joined together, like when you zoom it in, so all of them shouldn't have any gaps in between, because if you do, to wahan black screen aa jayegi. Now let's put this one. All right, so we have something that looks like this. I'm going to be telling you how to trim these clips as well if you think that they're too long. All right, so it looks something like this. Now I want to trim this clip because I think it's too long, this one. So let's trim it. Basically, when you move to the end of a clip, you're going to see this red arrow appear. Now, this blue bar that you see, this vertical one, I'm going to stop it where I think I should trim it. So I want to trim it till here. So we're just gonna slide it till there, and here it's trimmed. And we're just gonna move everything else back to its position. I want to trim this one as well. So I'm gonna select this. And I'm gonna trim it. This is a hassle, especially if you have a really long footage, that you have to make sure that there are no gaps in between all of these, because it won't look nice in your final footage. All right, so this is what it looks like. Now I'm gonna add the audio track. I had previously deleted it because I was editing the video. So these were some uncopyrighted tracks which the mentor had uploaded on the Google Classroom. You can use this as well. You can use any other one that you want. Now I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. But first, before that, we're supposed to bring the track exactly jahan ye khatam hoti hai footage, because you don't want this a black screen playing as your footage moves on. Okay, so it looks something like this now. Okay, so guys, my footage was getting stuck in between because my laptop getting overheated, which is very it's very normal, especially when you're using Premiere. Okay, now we also have the Pringles logo. Now, obviously, if you're editing a commercial, you should put the logo as well somewhere. If you want to put it at the start, you can put it at the start. If you want to put it at the end, you can put it at the end. But I like to put it during the footage, like somewhere in the top right corner. Wait, so now it's too big. So I'm going to double click on it and I'm just going to make it smaller. You see these dots, you can use it to adjust your size of the logo. And I'm going to move it to the corner right there. Yeah, I was moving it up there. Okay, so I've placed it over there. And I'm going to stretch this out because I want this to appear throughout. And also keep in mind, if you're using a logo like this, you have to make sure that the background of this is transparent, because अगर आपको यूज करेंगे ना जिसका black background है या white background है, तो it's going to appear as like a block or like a square in the corner, and it's not going to look really nice because you just want the background to not show, especially when you're working with logos. Okay, so now you can see that this logo is there throughout the whole video. I'm just running through to just show you that it's there. So now what I want to do is okay, so I was saying that I want to basically crop this video so this white and blue doesn't show. So I'm going to double click on this footage and I'm just going to stretch it out like this and adjust it as well. Now let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so it looks much better now, but I want to zoom it a little. Okay, so now that I've placed it where I want it to be, I want it to show something like this. So it ends over here, like right where the Pringles jar shows. Okay, so that is how I edited the whole thing. Now to export it. Now there are some technical settings, especially when you export it. So when you're on your timeline panel, what you have to do is you have to press, if you're on a Mac, you have to press Command M, or if you're on a Windows laptop, you have to press Shift M. Once you do that, a window will open. This window, this is called your export settings. Now when you're on your export settings, यहाँ कोई सी भी setting हो सकती है. Like this is kind of technical, but you have to make sure that you use these exact settings if you want to post these on social media and if you want them to be compatible with Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that it's on this setting, which is H.264. You have to make sure it's here. On the preset, you have to make sure it's on match source medium bitrate, like this. Make sure it's on medium. And then what you have to do is you have to click on the output name, double click on this, and you can name it whatever you want to. Like if I want to name it Pringles, so I'm going to name it Pringles. And then in the end, you have to click on export. it's going to take some time because Premiere takes a few minutes to render the videos and make them smooth and all. Like aap dekhe the, during the time I was editing it, it wasn't as smooth. That's because the video wasn't getting rendered as I edited. But once you click on export, it's going to get rendered and the video is going to play smoothly, like completely smoothly. So you just click on export like this, and here it's exporting, but I'm not going to export because I already have it exported, and I just want to show you guys how I'm going to do it. So now I'm going to stop the screen share and I'm going to answer any questions that you guys have regarding this or how I edited it. So please ask. You can unmute yourself or something. For these settings, are they only applicable to Premiere Pro? I use Filmora. Honestly, since there are many softwares for video editing. There's Final Cut Pro, and I was also previously using Final Cut Pro. But if you're using Filmora, you can look at YouTube videos, but the gist of the editing is the same. Like there are not going to be many changes to it. It's going to be quite similar to this. But if you want to learn more about that, you can look at other resources. You have YouTube, you have everything. So if you guys have any more questions, please ask. You said that the logo should be transparent, but yours was black. Mine was not black. It looked black in the preview. Let me show you again. Look at this. It looks black in this preview. Right here, you can see, but it's not actually black. It's a transparent logo. That's why it appears transparent over here. I can also show you in this folder that I have. Here it is. See, it's transparent. Like my background is gray, that's why it's showing gray, but this is completely transparent. And if you go on Google and if you're trying to find a logo, you can search for you can type the name Pringles logo and just write transparent with it. And अगर आपको एक नजर आएगी ना picture जिसमें white or gray boxes बने होंगे at the back, that means that image is transparent. And if not, and if you're familiar with using Photoshop, you can make the background transparent in Photoshop as well, but that's a long process, and that is something which is a part of our image editing process. But you can easily find logos or whatever pictures you want, transparent versions of them on Google Images. Could you please repeat the settings? They should be at when exporting. Yes. Guys, I advise you all to write these down because they're very important, especially if you want to post your videos to social media. So first you have to press Command M if you're on a Mac or Shift M if you're on a Windows laptop, and an export settings window will appear just like this. In the format, अगर आप डिफॉल्ट यूज करोगे ना तो आपका प्रॉब्ली ये इसका AAC ऑडियो या AIFF आएगा, but you have to make sure it's on H.264. H.264. Write it down if you want to keep this in mind. अगर याद आता तो फिर सही है. In your preset, it's supposed to be on medium. Match source medium is the second option right here, because इससे आपका वो फाइल की साइज also decreases, which is good because Instagram और Facebook के ऊपर एक लिमिट होती है to what कितने MB file can be exported or uploaded over there. So this should be on medium. And if you want to change the output name, just double click on this blue text and this video will appear, this window will appear, and you can change it to whatever you want to. And then once all of the settings hoti hain, but I don't think you have to work with that, and just click on export. It's going to take a few minutes, but ho jayega and your video will be ready. If you guys have more questions, please ask, because we still have some time left and I'm willing to explain anything else. Also, guys, just a tip that I use for myself. For example, if I'm shooting, like there are different types of videos you can shoot if you want to tell a story, if you're a traveler. So you can add like drone shots or like videos of the places. But remember that you have to record short clips. Don't ever record like one long video. That's only in the case if you're vlogging something. But don't record long videos. Just record a few clips and you can compile them in the end. Premiere के अंदर इतनी options होती हैं. You can be creative with it as much as you want to. There's this whole editing section where you can edit the way you want it. If you want to add transitions, if you want to add the glitch effects, everything. And the main purpose of this is to experiment. I myself learned Premiere by experimenting. I used to just click on random things and drag them to my footage and just see what they did, and that's how I learned everything. But just for the basics, this is what you had to do. This is what you had to know, because this is something which you can't do without. You can't do with experimenting because it's the complete basics. Obviously, like, you wouldn't know how to organize your clips into your timeline or anything. Like, jahan tak editing is concerned, you can experiment with that as much as you want to. And secondly, what I always do is that once I have my footage with me, I'm going to decide some music or a song which goes with the footage I have recorded. And then first I add my song to my timeline and then I add my footage, because when the song beat changes, so you would like it more if your clip also changes as soon as the beat changes, and it adds a nice transitioning effect as well. Okay, as soon as your beat changes, your clip also changes. So this is something I always do, and you guys should also, once you're experimenting, you should also do that. Like, you can make videos out of anything. मतलब घर में बैठे हो कुछ भी record कर लो, add it to your timeline, import it, and just start editing it, start playing with it. ठीक है? Just use whatever tools you want to. You can watch YouTube videos as well if you get confused somewhere, or you can, if you're editing while these classes are going on, you can also watch YouTube videos. So that's something I do. If you guys have more questions, please ask. And also, the panels that I explained in the start, it's very important that you know what those are and what their purposes are. Unke bahut complicated names and there's like source monitor panel and like program monitor panel. These names aren't important. What you should know is their purpose. कि एक में you can import your media, दूसरे के अंदर you can preview the media that you've imported. Then there's one जहाँ आपका सारा वो final project बन रही है. And then there's the timeline where you can make your sequence, you can organize all the clips you want. That's where you can add the transitions, what you want to edit, the audio tracks, the tracks, especially the audio tracks, the video tracks, everything. If you want to add the logo, remember, if you want to add something that shows on top of the footage, make sure it's on the track right over the footage. Let me show you that again. Let me just cancel this. Okay, so see, I've added the Pringles logo on top of the video and audio tracks because I want this logo to show over the video. अगर मैं, for example, इसके नीचे करती ना, purple वाले track के नीचे, the video track के नीचे, so this logo isn't gonna show because you just want it to be on top of the footage that you're editing. And this whole thing, this is called your sequence. And as you keep on editing your timeline, तो आपका एक sequence build होता जाता है. And you can edit the sequence at any time that you want to. You can make more sequences as well. If you want, like, for example, अगर मुझे ये पूरा sequence, I want this whole sequence to be black and white. And if I want my next sequence to be colored, so I'm going to make a black and white sequence with the black and white edit, and then I'm going to make another sequence with colored editing होगी. Is there a way I can send you something I've edited for feedback? Yes, you can upload it to the Google Classroom. The mentors can critique it, and if you want, I will also critique it and I can tell you what you can do. And if anyone else also has something that they want feedback on, please just upload it to the Google Classroom and the mentors will help you and give you critique. If you guys still have more questions, please ask. Also, another tip is that when you're editing, any laptop that you have can possibly get overheated. Your software can crash. So remember that you have to constantly keep on saving it. If you want to save it like really quick, just press Command S if you're on a Mac, or Shift S if you're on a Windows laptop, because you have to keep on saving your video. And you should do this, like, I advise you to do this right after you edit it, or as you compile the clips, because if your software crashes, it's very unlikely that your footage opens as it was before the software crashed. Or if your laptop just turns off, which happens a lot to mine, especially when I'm editing videos, you can lose everything that you've edited. That's why you should save it after every small step that you do. Guys, please ask more questions if you want tips, or if you were confused about anything still, or if you want to know something more. All right, so I'm assuming that none of you have any more questions. So if you do have any more confusions, or if you can think of more questions, you can ask those in the Google Classroom and we will respond to you. But as far as, oh wait, a problem I have is that I have to go through like a 20-minute clip 100 times and it takes way too long. That's the thing. That's why I'm saying once you're editing your footage, you have to take small clips, because it can take so long to decide what you want to add to your timeline, um, and what you don't want to. And going through like a 20-minute clip is really, really hard. Is there a way to shorten it? There's no way to shorten it. One, like, while you're shooting, like, obviously you can shorten it while you're shooting the clips. Like, for example, if I'm shooting a fashion film, I would make like a 3-second clip of my model's shoes, 5-second clip of my model's face, sort something like that. If I just make like a 10-minute video of my model, it's going to be so hard for me to go through it. Obviously end pe ho jayega, thing. um there's not any way to shorten that except like doing it in the software. You have to like go through it, you have to split them where you want to split them. And uska ek tool hota hai, wait, let me just show you that. Okay, so you see this razor tool over here, this one. This is what you use to split your clips. Now, for example, I want to, this, you see this dotted line over here. Now, if I want to split this clip, I'm going to just click over here once. And if, for example, I want to split it here next. Now, this in between is the unwanted clip. I don't want this clip because I want to shorten the footage. For example, if I'm shooting a podcast, I want to cut this out. If I've said something that I don't want to put in, I will just use the razor tool to make two cuts on each side wherever I want to split it, and in between will be the unwanted footage. So I'm just going to select the pointer tool then and just backspace it. Like, see, now your footage is gone. But since it was a commercial, I'm going to undo all of that. So that is the way you can shorten it. Otherwise, if you're shooting something else, which is not a podcast or not a vlog, then you'll have to shoot smaller clips. No problem. Acha, if you guys still have more questions, so push lo. Otherwise, this is going to be the end of the session. And if you guys have any more questions, I'm just going to say this again. Google Classroom mein pooch lena. If you want feedback on something you've edited, upload it over there. The mentors will respond. Are we going to go through the uses of all those tools? Yes, you will. you will go through all of those. But as far as the most important ones are concerned, at least to me, it's the razor tool, which I just explained, and it was the uh, this pointer tool. You can add text as well. There's like a type tool as well. Then there's you know the trim thing I just taught you guys how to do. Uska bhi ek alada sa tool hota hai, but just a shortcut was कि just go on the clip and when you see the red arrow, just you know trim it the way you want it to. But those tools have limited functions, but they can come in handy depending on what you want to do. Any more questions, guys? Oh, that this is the end of the basics of Premiere Pro session. And I hope you guys learned from it. And I really hope you guys will edit something and upload it, because I also want to see how you use these things that I just told you. And if you guys forget the export settings, ask them in the Google Classroom, and I will type them over there again so you guys remember. And yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, bye everyone.